Here I am back at it, just trying some new streaming ideas, and today I'm going to try out an idea that I've had for a long time, just don't know how to implement it. I'm going to actually be streaming a live character creation on D&D Beyond. The most basic thing you can do on D&D Beyond, and I'm just going to walk you through it. But hopefully I can give you some insight into my creative process that I use specifically when I actually make characters and such. So right off the bat, if you haven't watched any of my other content before in the past, I always go on and on about how I am a very visual person. My imagination is often spiked and sort of boosted by pictures, comics, trailers, fancy box art. I'm one of those guys that just can't throw out the boxes that came with all his toys or that his toys came in. So for me, visual images and such really spike my imagination. So that's how I approach making D&D characters. I know a lot of you might go a different route where you just start diving in and making the character and then you worry about what he looks like and all that later. I go the opposite way. So for this little stream, it's only going to be about a half hour, 20-minute stream at most. I've just decided to walk you through how to make a D&D character with D&D Beyond. So if you haven't signed up for D&D Beyond yet, go ahead and do so. It's a great tool and it's only going to get better now that Wizards of the Coast has taken it over themselves. So it's quite cool. So right over here we have our good friend the dwarf, currently unnamed and unclassed, but he looks like a dwarf and he's going to be a dwarf. This particular dwarf picture stood out to me mainly because I like the image of him holding a hammer and a shield. He's got some robes over top of his armor and he's kind of gruff looking. So for me, I think that's kind of a cool match made in heaven for a character design. So I'm going to go ahead and make this guy. So first thing you'll notice here is that I have an unlimited amount of character slots. If you're just signing up for a free D&D Beyond account, you will be limited in the amount of characters you make, so you might not want to be as frugal as I am being. I think frugal is the right word. Is frugal when you do something more than you should be? Whatever. So let's create this guy. Now the first thing you're going to have when you make a character, the first thing that's going to pop up is the screen that's going to ask you the method that you want to make him. I'm going to make this character in the standard method. If you're a dungeon master who's just trying to whip out NPCs really quickly, you can go quick build or even pre-made. But today we're going to go standard. But I am going to check off the show help text. I don't want that. I'm going to leave that unchecked because I don't need the messages popping up telling you how to make a character. But if you are just starting out, it's a good thing to do. So let's take the standard method. So first things first, it's going to ask me for a portrait. And it's going to really force my hand into making a name. So let's see how Dwayne's improv for making names is. I'm going to call this guy Dwarven names with a TH. Sound cool. Thordane, and I'm going to just be totally on trope here. Rock Sweller. Sure. Sounds cool. There is a fantasy name generator there that you can click on if you are just not able to think of names. We're going to go down. I'm going to take off some of these sources. I'm going to remove Eberron, Dragonlance. I'm just going to go there. I'm going to allow homebrew content because sometimes I'm known to homebrew it up, much to the chagrin of my players. I don't have any partnered content, although I'm curious about this Minecraft content. I'm going to look into that. I want digital dice rolling. If I ever use this character on D&D Beyond, I'm going to be able to roll dice on screen. Optional features, nothing there. I'm going to go with the experience point advancement system. I'm a old-fashioned guy that way. Hit points fixed. I'm actually going to go manual. I will allow feats with multi-class requirements. I want to be able to see if I can cast spells at a higher level, so show level scaled spells. I always keep that on. I'm not going to use encumbrance here. Again, this is just for creation purposes, but your individual DM will tell you to toggle things as you play. And for me, I'm an old-fashioned guy as well. I like to have my scores on top. I hate it when players just say, "What's your strength?" "Oh, I have a +2 strength." No. Your strength is a score. Your modifier is +2. Here we go. So sources here at the top, I'm just going to go Player's Handbook. It's pretty crazy when you look at the sources, right? Like we have like so many sources. Like just give me a Player's Handbook. That's all I need. Even within that, there's lots. So Dwarf is up here. I have two choices. I'm going to go Mountain Dwarf. Looks like he's been hiding out in the mountains, caves, all that kind of stuff. Used to rugged terrain, I can handle that. So down here it's going to list my abilities. Good chance if you're a player, I would take the character creation step in very small steps. I would want to digest this information. Don't just skip over it. So read each of your little traits. Talk to your dungeon master about them. Dwarven combat training. You have proficiency with the battle axe, hand axe, light hammer, and warhammer. And I get a tool proficiency. Gotta find a way to implement tools into my games. In this case, I'm gonna go Mason's tools. He has a stone cutting proficiency. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill. Add double your proficiency skill to the check instead of your normal proficiency bonus. And armor training, I have proficiency with light and medium armor. Excellent. Now's the class. Now, the image that I pulled said that he was a cleric. Now, he looks like he could be anything. However, I think, you know what? I think I'm going to make him a... I think I might make him a paladin. He looks kind of paladin-y. Paladins get divine sense at first level. They can sense an undead celestial within 60 feet of him. So that's cool. He senses things. Lay on hands, which you knew, gives him a pool of hit points equal to my level times 5. So he gets 5 hit points that he can sort of lay down and or stand down and just bestow healing upon people, much like a cleric in a basic way. So I'm taking the paladin. So Paladin's always good with armor, shields, weapons, martial weapons. His saving throws are charisma and wisdom. He is a wise dwarf with some charm. Choose 2 from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Well, we got to take religion. That's the thing. And you know what? I think I'm going to give this guy some... I think I'm going to give him some intimidation. He will typically be fond of maybe standing in front of enemies, proclaiming that he is a knight of whatever deity he's going to end up worshiping, and he will try and intimidate his way past his encounters first, relying on his weapon skills after. So that sounds pretty good so far. Thordane is coming together. Let's do the manual roll option. Now, for me as a dungeon master, I typically will do the rolled method, and then I will allow players to scrap the entire set of rolls if they're not happy, to re-roll an entire new set. So, and they can just do that in ad nauseum, so they can just continue to do that. But the trick is they have to scrap the entire set. So if they get like a good roll on strength, or good roll like an 18, but everything else is bad, they have to decide how badly they want that 18, or are they willing to re-roll the whole set. So let's go ahead and roll. Super slow clockwork dice going out of here. Okay, so I got an 11, and I'll assign these in a second here. 12, no, 17, sorry, I didn't see that other dice. 13. I think I might be taking these here. I get a really bad one. Yeah, okay. 12. 11. You know what? I think I'm going to take these. Yeah, let's take them. So let's start assigning. Now, here's the trick. Paladins are known for their wisdom and their charisma, but he is a paladin, so he's going to need to be able to fight his way out of situations, so I don't want to skimp too much. And he's got some really sort of average to just slightly above average. So I'm going to take the 17, and I'm going to put that into his, I think I'm going to put that into his charisma. As much as that sounds funny and weird, he's very careless. So let's just say within his people, of his clan, or wherever he's living in the mountains, he is very charismatic. He would be the one to stand up in front of a group of dwarves and convince them to go into battle or not to go into battle. So I'm going to go charisma. I'm going to put my wisdom at 12. which leaves me with some basic bare bones. It's all 11s from here on. No, wisdom is 13. I'm going to go strength 12. It's pretty light for a paladin, eh? Dexterity, everything else is just 11. Interesting, eh? Huh. Well, let's see how my dwarven... So because I'm a dwarf, my strength is being buffed, which is always a good thing. So I get +2 to my strength. So I'm at 14 for strength. My dexterity is 11, just default. My constitution gets a buff, so it's going up by +2, so that's 13. My intelligence stays at 11, my wisdom stays at 13, and my charisma stays at 17. So all round, 14 strength, 17 charisma. I'm okay with it. I'll take it. Okay, so normally you'd be able to go. I'm going to go and see if I can actually put a custom portrait in here. Probably not. Yeah. Don't know if I have a good portrait that's scaled anyway. I have the portrait for this character, but I'll put him in there. Okay, there we go. Thordane Rocksweller. For his background, I think I'm going to put him as a... I think I'm going to put him as a folk hero. Yeah, he fights for his people. Humble rank, destined for so much more. They respond to him as their champion. Destiny calls you to stand out against intense monsters and threaten the common folk everywhere. I like it. His tools, he is going to need some... Where are we here? Cobbler's tools. No, those are locks and stuff. Cobblers. Or for feet. Do we have stoneworking? Smiths, tinkers, woodcarvers, cartographers, alchemists, jewelers. Sure, let's go... No. Sure, let's give him some potter tools. He likes pottery. So rustic hospitality comes from the everyman folk. Let's give him some alignment. I'm gonna actually make him, believe it or not, I'm gonna go neutral good. I don't have a deity as of yet. I'm not really well versed in deities anyway myself, so as a lifestyle, I'm going to go give him a modest lifestyle. The clan that they're, the cave or the mountain they live in affords him. I'm going to go brown for his hair color. This is the section that players always leave out on. I'm going to go pale. Eyes, basically Dwayne if he was a dwarf. I don't know how tall dwarfs are typically. I'm going to go 4 feet. Weight, I'm going to go 200 pounds. Years, not too sure. Male. So now we're down to personal characteristics. Let's go and have some fun here. Let's add some traits. I'm always ready to help. Done. Okay, ideals. I'm going to go Destiny. It's the second character I've done this past month with that ideal. Let's add a bond. I protect those who cannot protect themselves, for sure. And his flaw. Let's go and convinced of my significance of destiny and blind to my shortcomings and the risk of failure. Excellent. So here I'm not going to go too much into backstory, allies, enemies, that kind of thing. That would be a whole sort of lore building for the character, that aspect of it, not the purpose of this particular video. I just wanted to go and show you some of the mechanics of making the character and how my brain sort of works when I'm working through all of this. This is the fun part, equipment. So I'm going to choose equipment as much as it fits my needs. I'm going to pick a martial weapon and a shield, because my picture there has a shield, and I like to stay true to that. So let's give him a hammer. Do I have, there we go, a warhammer. and his shield. Oh, did that not stick? There we go. A simple melee weapon. I don't want to be loaded up with javelins. So let's give him a hand axe on the side. So he's got a little, he's got his hammer in his main hand, and he's got a hand axe slung on his side that he usually uses for chopping wood or, you know, as a backup weapon. I'm going to give him a priest pack, mainly because at his heart he is a holy man. He's a man of faith, so he's going to have some of this stuff on him as a paladin. And that's mainly his main role, is to be sort of a champion for his god. Chainmail and holy symbol, hey? Let's give him a holy symbol. Seems like I've been picking artisan's tools forever here. Mason's tools. Looks like he's equipped with a shovel, an iron pot, a set of common clothes, which I'm hoping to turn them into nicer than common clothes, and a pouch containing 10 gold. Voila! A D&D character made in about 10 minutes or less, if you don't talk as much as I do. So this is it. And then you just go over to the character sheet. And you view it. A couple things to note here before you start playing. Go into your inventory and equip your armor. And one of your main weapons, of course, as well. Because you won't have access to, one, your armor class won't get updated accordingly. And when you go to your attack actions or your actions in combat, you won't be able to see anything because you haven't equipped anything. So in this case, I've got my Warhammer equipped. Turns out he's a +4 to hit with a Warhammer. And he does 1d8 plus 2 damage if he's using it single-handed with his shield. If he throws the shield down, if your DM just lets you discard armor like that, I do, you can drop your shield and wield it in 2 hands. You're going to do a whopping 1d10 plus 2 with this guy. All his abilities are listed down below. His lay on hands pool. His armor class, if you click on it in D&D Beyond, it's going to tell you how you get your armor class. He's 18, 16 with his chainmail, and +2 because he has a shield. So an 18 armor class for this little rock-solid dwarf is pretty good. He's got 13 hit points. That is, I got to refix that in the settings because for some reason I don't know why D&D Beyond is skewing that, because my old school knowledge knows that he's a D10 because he's a paladin and he has +1 constitution. So his max hit points can only really be 11. So I'm going to change that. And I got to figure out what setting it is that's causing me to miscue the hit points. But overall, looking pretty good. Obviously, intimidation is going to be his main thing when I roleplay this character, trying to intimidate foes as opposed to fighting them by invoking the name of his god in various different ways to hope to avoid conflict. But if worse comes to worse, he does have a massive Warhammer that he can bring down on enemies. So I think it's pretty good. Now, another thing with D&D Beyond, if you want to add some flair, obviously you can go in here and you can change your sheet appearance. One of the things I like to do is go to dark mode. Too much white bothers my eyes. I like to have a little bit of a darker look to things. I'm going to change the theme. I'm going to go down here and change it to a nice gold theme if I've got one. Here we go, Paladin Gold. There we go. And then I'm going to go back up here and change my backdrop. And rather than having just the class-based backdrop, I'm going to see if I can give it a darker backdrop. This looks neat. Maybe a little bit too dark. Let's go here. What's this all about? No, not liking it. Maybe just a classic dragon one. Okay. And then lastly, if you want to have your frame be a little bit more snazzy, there's a few animated frames. There's some colorful looking frames. I'm going to go with the animated Flame Striker frame. You can see up here. Looking good. So if this is the screen that you have in front of you while you're playing D&D and you've got a nice backdrop and you've got a nice animated frame, it makes playing the game a little bit nicer. Heck, if they had soft calming music to play, I'd probably cue that up as well. Makes my sessions go nicer. Soothes the soul. But yeah, here we go. So I'm going to post the PDF for this guy, Thordane Rock Sweller, if you want to use him in your campaign and see what he can do in your games. You can just go to the bottom of the comment section of this and click on it, and you'll have access to him to download. So thanks for tuning in for this unique little video that I did. I'm hoping to evolve this concept with ideas and stuff, and maybe see how everybody likes it. So if you like it, make sure you subscribe, click off those notifications as well, and keep checking back for more of our D&D content. I hope all you guys have a great Tuesday. Take care.